Where did I put that thing? All right. All right.
Hello. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
How's everything?
Oh, fine. Busy.
Yeah, I know this whole week was like, how's your guys' project for the for your class?
It's going pretty well. Well, so far um I've got my part done. It was
Okay.
more, yeah, creating lists. We're doing we're calling it Californians on the Move, where people move to
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so I did I didn't do any API key, etc. The couple of the other gals were doing that, and then we were starting to merge and get conflicts. So they did theirs,
Okay.
and mine was a standard list. And then the two guys, they're still working on theirs, but
Yeah.
um, one's having issues with data frame or just not getting it done, and the other, he's actually being evacuated right now down in Irvine. So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, so we'll see if his part gets done, but for the most part, the group is participating. So
Yeah,
compared to,
I heard you guys are gonna the presentation is Wednesday or something like that.
yeah, it's Wednesday, and so I was in charge of the initial Word document to the instructor, and
Okay.
then the PowerPoint, um, uh, to go off of, and then one of the other gals is putting um, all of our notebooks together into a main branch.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, um, so I did my part. How's that?
Were you able to figure out the whole? So did you guys do the B for the climate change thing? I think I
Be
remember
for
you asked a question about that last week.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
They changed their
Oh,
yeah, just because we couldn't find an easy API that
okay.
without paying for it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, usually.
nobody wanted to pay for it, which, I don't, I'm not either. So I like forget it. So we went with a census, the US
Okay.
Census, so it's free.
Yeah, those
Um,
are good. I think like anything that has like big data where like you could have like a lot of what did you guys have to like conclude or what are you guys presenting on the results?
I'm going to attempt to share my screen. We'll
Okay.
see if this works. I
Cross my
since
fingers.
it's since it's PowerPoint and not Jupyter Notebook, and I'm on my
Okay.
PC.
I think that'll be good.
Uh, if this doesn't work, then
Yeah.
Zoom and I do not get along. So
Okay, let's
okay,
see.
if I lose you, I'll just reconnect. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so do you
All
see
right, I see it.
you see it? Okay, so
Yeah.
perfect. Oh, thank God.
Let
I
me
was
see.
like, I can't move all my Jupyter and coding stuff to my work computer. I'll get in trouble. So
Yeah.
this is as far as I can go.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, it's pretty basic. Introducing the team,
Okay.
the project description and scope. So we're trying to prove the point that more Californians are leaving this state.
Yeah.
Then actually, I need to change that. Then migrating in. Following these data points, we set out to prove this statement. So they're moving because of increased poverty levels, population, traffic congestion, unemployment, reduced incomes, higher income inequality, higher housing costs, higher
Hmm.
taxes.
Oh, this is good. Okay.
Yeah, so our baseline scope was California, and then the top 5 states we focused on is competition. We're really based on various articles of where
Yeah.
people are moving to. So, and then we set a 5-year time frame for this data, and
Okay.
then
That's good. Okay.
yeah, and then we looked at what were our questions. So, top reasons for people, does unemployment affect it? Does rent and housing increases affect? Do transportation, what are the effects of each of these subcategories, if you will?
Yeah.
Um, affect the move. And then we just pointed out our data set and support.
Census. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good place. Yep. Okay.
And then supporting findings, so just various articles that further supported, but more qualitative. But you know, it was their census data on top of our research.
Okay. That's good. You guys have like references. Those are always they always ask for those. Like,
Oh, do they? Okay,
yeah.
good.
Like in the every time you have like a picture
Oh
or like
yeah.
some finding. Like, oh, where's your source? Where's your source? Yeah.
Yeah,
It depends on
totally.
your professor though. Sometimes yeah. How long is your guys' presentation?
He's only giving us 10 minutes, so I'm gonna see
Okay.
tonight who can do because I can talk fairly fast through these first.
Are you guys all talking? I heard it's flexible, so are you guys all talking?
Yeah, we each have our points. So one of the gals is these are her findings, her 4 slides.
Nice. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then so Daniel, he's the one being evacuated. So
Mhm.
I
Okay.
don't know if I'll get his, but I think he had a couple of graphs.
That's good. Did you guys
Yeah.
partition the like how to do who's gonna do the matplotlib or like the
Well, we ended up each doing our own on our.
oh, I see. Like it's like partition like one part of the I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, so we each took our own segment, created our own plots, and then just brought them together so we could each, because we needed a total of 6 to 8, but we have a lot more than that, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then from there, then Natalia will do her part, and then Hossein, hopefully he'll get me his today. And
Okay.
then I'll be the last to speak. And really, since mine's median household income,
Yeah.
just
These are
showing.
good. This looks pretty good.
Good. I'm glad. It's
Yeah.
like we were all stressing, like this is never going to happen, and then by Saturday we were like, okay, we feel pretty good.
Yeah.
It's and I have quite a few graphs, but mine was really taking this and then parsing it down
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
each
That's
so they
good.
could just so they could see an up close view of each state and the US average.
Yeah.
And then I the last 2 slides I did the ACS Gini coefficient, so I'll describe what that is. And then
Okay.
the measure of income inequality for the US Census, so showing California has higher income inequality, which is not a surprise, but
Yeah.
it's
It's the one thing that's really allowing people to move out. But
yeah,
it's
for
I think
sure.
it's good. I mean, it evens it out, but we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, exactly. And then state tax data. So obviously we're higher taxes than everybody else. Oregon, just in basic state tax
Okay.
findings. So I think for some of the findings it holds true. Others it doesn't in some of the other reference points from other group members. So they're going to have to tell me, and then
Okay.
we'll summarize at the end our
Yeah.
findings.
That's good. Kind of like for each person, kind of like I think for what you guys have done, it's really great. You partition the work as maybe sometimes everyone has their own thing, but then in the end, yeah, having this is gonna really generate that like okay, I'm building off what he or she did, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
you guys, I think that's
yeah.
good. Like the level of they always say like you should have at least like 2/3 pictures, 1/3 like words. What you have is nice.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kept it pretty clean right now, just because the focus on the data, not on the design.
Okay.
I mean, I might put a little pizzazz to it, but
Pizzazz,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't want to hide the.
Yours definitely like looking at the way you chose your color scheme
Mhm.
is great. This is all bar graphs, right? So
Oh
something
yeah. Yeah,
like
I just did very basic bar graphs. It wouldn't make sense any other way for this
yeah.
data. I mean, I suppose I could do like a scatter or a box plot, but I'm not good at those.
Yeah, I think for this one, yeah, this is the best one, a bar graph, because I can definitely see, like, like California itself, like for all the graphs, you can see that it's the one that's the highest, and then just because you're talking about different levels, right? You're comparing the
Yeah.
the level itself and all these other stuff.
Yeah, all the other states as well as the US national average. So it really shows the closer to zero, the more equal you are. You're
Okay.
the kind of the haves and have nots, if you will.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and then of course California, as we know, is like more extreme. So it's closer to the halfway point, and then of
yeah,
course, as time goes, it probably will creep up even closer to one.
yeah,
So yeah, so so I think we're all feeling much better than we were at the
yeah.
beginning. Felt a little overwhelming, but it's a
I'm
good
good.
group. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys meet a lot, or was it just like, okay, or because like when you guys, because who's the leader of the group? Is it one of you, or are you guys just like all equalized?
Well, all the girls are leaders.
Yeah, the
Where
girls always take over. The guys just realize like, okay, okay, I'll do my part last.
yeah, they just kind of didn't say much, or were the first. Well, it was hard because we had our assignment, our
Yeah,
homework due last Wednesday,
that
and
that
so
one too as well. Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Is that optional? The API is, you don't have to do anything in JSON related, right? It's just do something with pandas. That's
Um,
enough already.
yeah, I mean, I think we're done with that part.
Okay.
I turn in my homework.
Okay.
I in terms of this assignment, it's really whatever gets to the data.
Okay.
And,
Yep.
so I think, then we have a Jupyter notebook along with that. So somebody else will show that,
Okay.
all the code. So, they'll want to see that side by side, and
Yeah.
then we'll just walk through it. But yeah, we only have 10 minutes, so it's not like
Yeah.
they
You
can
gotta.
do in
It's like
depth.
the rule of concision. It's like you don't want to give them too much, but like enough to just get some idea, I guess. Like, like okay, there's a graph, I get it, and then just, I guess, repeat what you guys are trying to convey. That
Yeah.
I understand what your part is, and then um yeah, when you guys practice, is it on Wednesday? Like, you guys have it on Wednesday, right?
It's Wednesday, so tonight we'll practice, we'll finalize. Hopefully everybody's turned their stuff in, and then um, after the presentation, I'm sure that night, then we'll each turn in our own PowerPoint and Jupyter notebook link
Hmm.
to, because we have to turn it in. We each have to turn it in, not as a group, but individual.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So
Just to prove that you did work together.
exactly. We were there. We were present. I probably would. I might. I mean, we'll see what the instructor says. Um,
Okay.
turn in my own part of it.
Okay.
My section.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. We'll see what he says.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming they'll want to see how
The work.
much.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
guys each did.
yeah,
Um.
I would think so, but I don't know. I don't, or maybe they don't care. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it maybe just be like that's it. But like it seems like they'll probably see it if you guys put it on like the notebook, like your parts, like, oh, this is what I did, kind of like just like a label, like your name and
Yeah, that's
what you
true.
guys did in the notebook. Oh yeah, I want, like, someone was asking about this as well. Like, you know how you guys are doing it on PowerPoint,
Hmm.
and then you have like a notebook. I've seen sometimes people present like on the notebook itself, but like I think I've told you this partially before. Like, on the notebook, you can actually create like a slide. You can click on like one of the on the code block, and when you click on it, it actually brings up that code block as like a slide. It's really cool though.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll show you later if I get a chance to do it, because like I've seen that a colleague of mine did that before. Like, like when you're doing like a PowerPoint and then a notebook is like two different. You're doubling the work in essence.
yeah,
Versus
yeah.
like,
We're
oh, maybe you can just do everything on that notebook.
Possibly. I don't know. We're kind of nearing the end here. I don't know,
Yeah.
to
What
learn
you guys have is
something new.
good. As long as doing it together and then having the idea kind of like in the same lines.
Mhm.
That's always been the thing for where group work is. The way the ideas are conveyed is like it all depends on like the conclusion. I mean, whatever you guys are concluding, as long as you're like kind of like piggybacking on each other, it's like okay, this is what he did, and this is 2, 3, and 4. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I hope
this is great.
yeah, I hope that, I mean, we have enough slides. We'll go to the 10 minutes, I'm sure, and then
Yeah,
we'll just hopefully not too many questions. Because there's still close to 60 people in the group, not a lot of people dropped out. So I think
okay,
there's like, I would assume probably 16, 17 groups.
yeah.
So
It's all in one night or one
all
day.
all in one night, and then we turn it in, and then yeah, then we start on SQL on Saturday. So
Oh yes, SQL. Yeah. Is that like so you guys are still doing that before Java?
yes.
Okay. Eh, that one, yeah, we could probably talk about that one. It's what ID are you guys using? Is it just I have to look.
He had us download, let me see what he had. Called, well, page admin 4. Does that make sense? And then Postgres SQL, and then version 13.
Yeah, kind of. And then
Is that,
what are you guys starting with in SQL? Is it just are you
oh,
guys spending the same amount of time? Is as like Python and Mozilla, the one the VBA?
I don't know. We'll probably spend through probably right before Thanksgiving on this.
Okay.
That's my guess. I didn't look closely. Um,
That's fine. Yeah, SQL is good. We can talk about it once you get the notes and the homework especially. It's something that like I don't really usually think is used as much. Mostly like Java, and then because this SQL you can do this in Python as well. But yeah, like if there's like a particular problem, yeah, we'll attack it. Uh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I think that because he had us. What did he? Oh, I don't want to open that. He had us download the page admin
okay.
to use that as our God, I want to say not hosting site, if you will, but where to.
Also, you're not downloading like a local file or a local version of SQL. You're using a hub.
I guess that's what it's called. I'm not sure. It's he said it's downloaded on our local. It's not using the browser, but I mean, I'm
Mm,
looking at this and it is on the browser. So I was a little confused what he was doing. I mean, this was like we're knee
okay.
deep in our project, and then he's having us do this, and
Yeah.
it's just a bit much. So, well, I'll find out then. I'm not worried about it. Not
Okay.
yet.
Yeah. One thing at a time. Attack this
Yeah,
one first.
I mean, it's like, come on.
Okay.
I
But
can't.
for SQL, let's talk about that next week. I was just thinking like this one like in terms of like for each one of these like I have some examples that I can probably like send you. I'll look
Oh,
into it sometime this week. And then
I think, you know what, let's see here. I want that bar to go away.
I just want to know like what type of commands he wants you guys to
Let me
cover.
see here. This will take us to, oh, I hate when he does this.
What is that?
Oh, it's these surveys.
Oh,
Like,
survey.
it's like rate the pace of class. It's always too fast. What do you think?
Yeah.
How
Duh.
satisfied? It's like, do you think you're prepared? Of course I'm not prepared. How
Does he ever
engaging.
change it even if you guys say negative reviews?
I know. I think this is more for just, general UCI knowledge. I mean, he's very knowledgeable. It's just too fast for me. This is not a beginner class, no matter how much they say it is.
Is there like a part,
Usefulness.
is there a part 2 for this class? Or is it like a different? Or is it,
This is it. I think. I mean, if it's part 2, it's another like a complete different section, like data science or
oh, probably like yeah, like this one's probably like just learning the tools and then the other.
yeah. I think then you know how are you going to focus types of things. So
Yeah.
let's see here. So sessions. So Saturday introduction, and that is, well, I know it is. Oh, there's nothing there. Coursework. Okay, let's see here.
I'm thinking probably like you guys will cover the database functions. If it's like inline.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, there just isn't anything on here. I'm not sure why. I thought there was. I mean, as soon as you go into project details or session details, you would think that there would be details. But I think I mean, he does add his, he records his sessions and puts them in here after.
Okay.
So, yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I would have to go to another dashboard. I think there's one other place I could check, and that is GitLab, maybe. I don't know. It's like, how many sites can we go on to check on stuff? I don't know. Lessons. Project 1. Yeah, he hasn't uploaded really anything. I'll have to wait
Oh, not yet.
until.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
like is he gonna start on Saturday or after
Yeah,
you guys?
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday he'll introduce that, and
Okay.
then I'll have a better idea. I'm sure it's just frankly just getting used to the page admin site, and then
Okay.
really what SQL is, whatever it is. I know it's a database function
Yeah.
or program, but
There's a bunch
what's
of stuff you can do in it. Yeah. But
yeah.
let me know if you guys will do like database commands, something like that. There's a
Okay.
kind of like what you're the one thing you've seen it probably already. Like there's one, for VBA, for Python, now SQL. It's just learning the syntax, right? But and then
Sure.
once you know it, like you see a relationship, it's like, oh, okay, it's just another tool in my shed, and I just have
Yeah.
to know how to dig the hole.
Just have to know how to use it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think overall it'll be, I mean, I couldn't tell you the first thing. I'm still feel like I need another 3 months in Python just to like let
Yeah,
it sink in.
I was actually talking about that, like with Python, like everyone uses that, like that's like the one thing that let me just share. It's like the one thing that everyone does, and then like you can do everything in it because it can be built like everything. Like in Java, you can open up Java stuff in Python, Jupyter Notebook, and like
Mm.
everyone always requires Python skills. Like everywhere you go, like okay, you know Python. All the other stuff, it's like in the back end. It's like
Mm.
so as long as if you want, we could stick around with Python. Even if you guys are doing SQL. Uh, after all like the Python sessions, do you think you felt that you learned, or you wanna like do more and cover more things? There's
You
actually
know, I feel
there's
like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I went through it so fast, nothing really sank in. I mean, a lot of it was okay. So boilerplate code.
yeah.
Okay, this
Seeing the
works.
application
How
is
did
art
this
a little
work?
bit.
I have no
Yeah,
idea how this worked. Great,
yeah,
but it does. I'm not going to touch it. And
yeah.
then, but
But like you know how you did the project, kind of like an applied project. Did it sink in a little bit, like seeing the beginning to end, like pandas and
yeah, Yeah, I think so. I think, it's creating dictionaries or Panda libraries, looking at APIs, like, how do you know there's an API out there?
Yeah,
When do you use a JSON, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And I think that's the real world
yeah,
information that I'm
yeah,
lacking, is like
yeah.
these real world situations, like if I'm given a problem
Yep, yeah,
or an
like
issue,
an actual problem.
yeah, like a real world, yeah, not homework,
A client problem, yeah,
like where would I even begin? Because I look at it and go,
yeah.
do I import the world, or can
Scope
I
of work. Maybe they're asking you something about like a census or housing, and then that
something?
something
Yeah.
like that, yeah. And it's probably like the company itself probably has their own, like some of these are proprietary, like these
Mhm.
APIs. Some of them, right? Yeah, like you have to
Yeah.
pay for them. So yeah, it's probably dependent on that. And there's like a system. It's probably like a system. It's like, okay, this is the this is what you guys are gonna do, and then this is the way we do it. It's like that, yeah, something like that maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, I would think that even if you're advanced
Yeah,
going into a company
yeah,
where, where do you begin? And it just, a lot of this was like, okay, well, oh,
a lot,
sure I'm going to go to the SpaceX site. Yeah, of course I'll find it. It's like, this
I know
isn't,
what I'm gonna get there.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's not my hobby. Like, why would I even know this?
that's the one thing actually with I guess yeah, we can talk about like with data science. It's data, right? It's data science, and
Mhm.
it's like so general, like the data, the data of everything. It
Yeah.
could be weather, it could be SpaceX, it can be like housing. I feel like it's like the business itself can, well, it's still on the brink of it, like you can still apply. Oh yeah, the other day I was actually watching a video about do you remember like the one thing I was like, oh, it's just data, and then when you analyze it, the more you have, you feel like you can predict things, the more data you have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But is it really like, are you really predicting what would happen next if you don't know like the physical, aspect of that data? And then when I was like watching that video, we were talking about like it's such a black box because you're just projecting kind of like a pattern, like you're finding the pattern of your data and then you using that to predict, right?
Hmm.
But what if you don't what if the person analyzing it don't really know, like the physical aspect of it?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean, that's a question that would, yeah, I wouldn't even know.
but and it seems like from what I got from that video, they were talking about, oh yeah, you can there's like different algorithm. Seems like it's like a research aspect still. And then what they're doing right now is just really, projecting like existing data to predict. And even though it's a black box, it's well known. There's a lot of algorithms like already out there that people are using. Like it's like something that people already use. Why use something else, right? Or why do something else?
Hmm.
So like I,
Yeah.
I, I'm always thinking it's like, okay, maybe in the next few years, 10 years or so, like it may get some traction, like adding like physical aspect to data. But as of right now, it's really just what it is. The more data you have, like the easier it is to predict like stocks, predict like weather, predict like like either you have like classification or something like that.
Hmm.
But is that
Yeah.
something? That's actually like another thing. I don't know. Is your the class that you have? Are they gonna cover machine learning or?
Yes, that'll be after the new year. That'll be, I think, one of the last parts that they get
Okay,
into. So,
it's so
and
much. It's so much theory though. That's the one thing. I don't. Knowing that your professor is gonna talk, go like breeze through it. It's such a lot of theory.
I am not looking forward to that, because, I'm already like reviewing statistics and all this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's been, 20 plus years since I took a class in college on that. I'm like,
Yeah, like I was
I
actually
haven't
trying.
needed that.
I was drawing out the, what was it called? Do you remember the Bayesian, what's it, the normal distribution curve?
Yeah,
The bell curve, yeah.
bell curve. Yeah.
And then and like my other client was like, oh my, I totally forgot what this. It's like, is that what you're talking about, the hump? It's like, no, because there was a problem where like, you have to like filter a data from from the mean, two standard deviations from the mean. That was the question, like two standard deviations from the mean. It's like, oh, what does that mean? So I had to draw out the normal distribution curve. It's like, oh, that's what that is. That's what that meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I think data science. The first time I heard, I kind of touched on it. I didn't know it had a lot of statistics, but it is what it is. It's like the data, but how do you predict? You use statistical theory to
Yeah.
like predict. And
Yeah.
if you love that, that's good. It's not really like, I think learning, like there was called the like pandas itself. There's the statistics like NumPy. I think just learning it is good enough. Like the statistics itself, maybe you can brush off on, but I would just say just learn like the module. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to learn the theory. That right there is for someone else.
Well,
As long as you know how to use which function, you're good to go.
yeah, because well, but then he went into hypothesis testing.
Oh, you guys went to that one, or you covered
Yeah,
it?
and null hypothesis. But this was like Wednesday night. He wanted to go over it, and we're in the middle of our project, and
Okay.
Do a statistical test, determine the significance value, the
P-value,
computer
yeah.
p-value, and then let's go over what a null hypothesis versus a hypothesis test is. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? The t-test?
Did everyone do that too? It's like, do you not know? Like,
Yeah, well,
that's
he
funny, yeah.
randomly selected a couple people, and thank God it wasn't me, because I was
Oh, he
like,
does that? I didn't know he does that. Like,
oh yeah.
has he picked you yet?
No, I mean, I've spoken up a couple of times. I've been
Okay,
wrong, but at least I was participating, I was like, whatever. So
yeah,
I think he knows, he tried to get other people, but
I
like
see.
the chi-square test
Chi-square.
and
Yeah, chi-square,
Welch's
yeah.
chi-square, ANOVA, Welch's t-test, independent t-test. I mean, that's definitely stuff that I probably I have no clue about. I took notes on it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Did he
Somebody else
covered
can deal with this.
He covered the modules, right? The functions that allow you to get those probability.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as you know where it's at, where it's located, like, and then using it. That's actually if you want, we can go over that too. I know like ANOVA itself is there's a lot of it, but I think the one that's used a lot is the P norm or Q norm.
Oh,
And
I
then
don't
like
even know that
yeah,
one.
and t-test. ANOVA, because like all these ones, like it's just when you apply them, it depends on what you have, like like the data that you have. Like if it's like a normal distribution kind of data, you apply that. If it's like a small population, you apply the t-test. He probably talked about this. Like,
He did.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
looking at my notes right now, and it's
And then like
just
yeah.
two means are equal. The goal, determine how much evidence to reject the null hypothesis. And I'm like, yeah, I'm rejecting everything that he talked about that night, because no, there's just no.
Yeah, when I learned about that before, like the null hypothesis, I think the rule I had was what was it, like if your p-value is like less than out 0.05, that's when you reject it, or when you
It's
accept
smaller
it?
p-value is a stronger evidence against the null hypothesis. So I guess
Smaller one, right? Yeah, against
smaller.
yeah. So if it's that's what I meant. So if it's less than the 0.05, you reject the null, and then you accept the alternative. And if it's greater than, then you accept the null, and you accept the null, which is what, I think that's what that is. Yeah.
So
How it's applied though is just if you know how like if you have like if it's less than your p-value, if it's less than 0.05, that means like there's no your data itself, it's statistically significant, or like you're away from the mean itself. There's a pattern. But if it's greater than that, like that means like it's independent. Like there's no pattern. But I think that's just like knowing that versus like, oh, is it null hypothesis or is it alternative? It's not that much of a big deal.
Okay.
It's just like, is there a pattern in your data? Because that's what the end goal for that is. If you know it's statistically significant, then it affects your data. If it's not statistically significant, that means like it doesn't affect your data.
Okay.
As I remember it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys have a homework for that one, or is it just like something?
No, that was just something that, he guided, he was like, oh, and if you wanted to use that in your code, just, to
Oh, I see.
elevate your project. I think one of the
Okay.
Natalia used it in hers. I'm like, you go
Is
for
there
it.
is there a criteria for like what is an A? Like what is considered a good? Because like people kind of like where you're saying like there's a lot of people in the class that some of them have experience with this, others don't. They vary so much.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I
what
mean,
is an A? Like what if he can, and it was randomized, right? Like it's not like like, oh, some people I'll put some people with experience along with people without experience.
yeah, no, it's just random. He doesn't know us well enough to know what we know. So, it's very random. And so
Yeah.
you could have a whole, there could be a whole group where none of them know anything. Or there could
Yeah.
be a whole group where they're all like brainiacs on this stuff, techies,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
live for it. So we're kind of in the middle, Jennifer and
Okay.
Natalia are really good about it. I would say I'm lower to middle, and then Daniel and Hossein, I don't know, they don't talk a lot. So I think we take over the conversations actually. So I mean, from their data, it looks like they know, but
Okay.
yeah,
Let the data speak, right?
yeah, yeah.
Not the person. No.
They can do their own talk. So
Yeah.
we did our part. We carried them far enough. So
Yeah. That's
they
good.
got,
Yeah, let me know if how well it goes on Wednesday.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
from what I've seen, yeah, you guys have a solid topic. It's very much relevant to California. You can like the conclusions you guys will make will definitely create some discussion points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for sure we'll just we'll kind of hammer those out tonight and see what we can what we come up with. It'll be short and sweet just because obviously the 10-minute rule is going to be really tough.
Is that with questions? 10 minutes with questions? Or
I don't know. I think
how is it yeah.
I'm thinking just 10 minutes without.
Okay.
I would hope, because that's a lot of pressure to do all this work and then not have
Yeah.
time to actually, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of rude to only allow us like 5 minutes for all this hard work, whether we're right or wrong. It's like it gives us time to show something.
Yeah, you don't want to be rushing that kind of stuff. Like especially like you guys have a lot of slides, so I mean like you could always just like blur it out. It's like, okay, this, and
yeah,
you can definitely what you guys have is very pictorial. People are gonna like it. That's probably what he said, right? Show a lot of your graphs, like not a lot of the numbers, show graphs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he said, 6 to 8 graphs is mandatory. And so we did that. And then we'll have to, we'll just walk through any other mandatories we're missing tonight, just to see, if there's something we forgot. But I think we're pretty well there.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not gonna, I'll stress about it, but not like I was. So I'm You
You're
know,
glad you're done though, right? Like I think last week when we were talking about that bee thing, I was like, I don't know, like it just seemed like it wasn't the. I mean, for me, like the topic itself, you know.
yeah, it was
The
a lot. It was
honeybee
like
and climate change.
it
Production
was.
of honeybee, like what's it called? Whatever it was.
Oh yeah, my bee data. I think it was just so. It's such an overwhelming topic, you know,
Yeah,
and solving climate change, or like these are the sub effects and these are the main reasons and these are,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, that's a lot of science to cover
yeah.
it.
No, like it was like a real estate or like something business related. Yeah, that's easier, I would say. And there's a lot
Yeah,
of data, and it's relevant, you know. Like people like to talk about it, so
yeah, it's in the news, people have heard about it, so
yeah.
we're
The
okay.
other one, it's too controversial.
Yeah, yeah, and I just, it's like I said, it's so big
Yeah,
to divvy it down to, like, examples,
yeah.
wildlife and pollution, and
Yeah.
like it's too overwhelming. So it was a good thing to change over. I
Okay.
mean, you know, even though a couple of us had done all the work already, it was like,
Oh,
well,
really? I didn't know. So you had to like maybe 25% there, and then you're like, okay, let's change it. I didn't know you guys were. It's like,
well,
who?
I had done my script,
Okay.
and then another gal had done hers. I think Natalia had done hers.
Hmm.
And then the first time we all met, they were like, oh, let's, you know what, why don't we change it? Like, well, I already uploaded everything, but sure.
Yeah.
So, but whatever.
Whatever. As long as you can, you felt if as long as you feel passionate about what you have right now. I mean, not too passionate, but like some
Oh, I
passion
could
at
care
least.
less, but sure. I mean, I know what I'm talking about, so that's fine.
Yeah. It all depends on like I would say because then if you like what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense,
Yeah.
it's the data's there. It's easy to cover, if
It's
you
easy. Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
And and once we get into, he may question like why I didn't use API data,
I thought it was
and
it's optional, isn't it though? It's optional, right?
it's optional, but I had to create my data sets because they weren't all in one CSV file. They were in a bunch of different ones and
And then you
publications.
created also your what's it called?
Yeah,
Is it you hybrided your CSV and used that?
yeah. Well, I didn't create a CS. I just put a table together in my Jupyter notebook to be able to
Okay,
get a data frame together and then plot it out. And
that's good.
I think from there, if I had a lot more data points, I probably could have,
Yeah.
but I there was no reason to. We have, enough. If he questions it, it's like, well, it's all in the U.S. Census. It's just pages and pages and publications, and there
Yeah.
was no CSV for,
Oh, there was no CSV. Okay.
well, for my section, for what,
Okay.
for, there's household income, like an average from 2014 to 2018, but not 2013. So then you have to go to
Mhm.
2013, get that, and then 2014 and do that, and 2015, etc.
Mm.
um because it was just one average, and we wanted year over year, so then that's where I did that. And then the Gini
That makes sense.
coefficient,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that was
actually,
just publications over years.
yeah. What you did is actually pretty, well, I would say like it's like one of those things like, okay, you don't have something, right? And then you have to fabricate from like resources or references, like
Yeah,
the data, which is like, what was it called? Data scavenging.
yeah, it really was. I mean, it was still a lot of research, but
Yeah.
it's
Because I think that sometimes that may be the thing. Like people think there's a lot of data out there, but what about the opposite? What if there isn't much, and you need to prove something, right? You need to prove something out of like nothing.
yeah,
So how do you
yeah,
get the data?
exactly. You gotta find it somehow, somewhere. And
It's like was it like what if it's too old of a year, and there's no online database? Actually, there was one that was it called an interesting one that I covered the other day, like Titanic. I'm glad that they actually have data on that one. You probably saw
mm,
the Titanic data.
I didn't.
Yeah, let me show you with the time that we have. I don't want to actually like. Do you want to cover APIs or
I
I really don't have like a passion for this.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we can. I think the JSON would be interesting. Yeah.
Okay. So for this one, you guys covered this one already, right?
The launch pads, yeah. So JSON, what is this? It's turning data into a viewable format. Is that really what it is? All it is?
So what you see here, oh, do you see my screen, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes I don't have that green thing, but I saw that it's still sharing. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So if you look over here, this is just a list of a dictionary. And then if you have like you probably you have Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, right? And
Mhm.
then like if you look over here, it's just it's just a very succinct way of like storing data. Because if you look at how they store that, it's like a layered 3D data frame.
Mhm.
Like this list itself is where it ends, but then inside here you have each element of the list is a dictionary, right? And
So
then
within the curly braces or brackets, that's
yeah,
one dictionary.
that's one dictionary, and then you also have these guys in here, which is like a dictionary, and then the keys, and another one right here. There's another dictionary, and it's just a layer of data. Like when you use, I think it was here. Let me look at this one. When they created sentences, you guys created sentences here.
Mm-hmm.
You can access data just from like a JSON, and then the JSON itself, the raw JSON is like this. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, which is unreadable.
Yeah, it's too much, too much.
But this is what makes it like if you heard of what's it called encrypting data, like it's kind of like what it's doing here. Like it's so cryptic that like you can store it in like a small data like storage of data like megabyte mega like not giga or tera,
Mm.
but that this is a more efficient way of storing it rather than a CSV. Like a CSV, which is like in pandas, like what you access with pandas,
Hmm.
is is a bigger type of data, and then you can't put it online, or you can upload it. But this one is embedded, and then it's really easy just to like put everything in here, stack it up, and just make them like dictionaries, and they're all categorized. Yeah, like you just have to call out the key, and for each key, whatever you want to access, you have that guy, and you can create all these different like links to the website, or maybe like words in the website where you, just using this guy.
Mm. Okay.
And yeah, that's really what it is. Like all these APIs, it's just a great way to store data online. And then like that right there, I mean, for me, the reason why I don't like it as much is because of the API key.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the API key itself, like it's like encryption. I mean, that's why there's an API key. Like for the other, if you look on like Kaggle, you can easily just download like a counterpart, like a CSV counterpart of a JSON. And you can easily just find those data. Sometimes maybe there isn't much, and you're stuck with actually getting these. You have to work with these guys. And
Mm-hmm.
that's fair. I think for now, just like know how to access these, and you've learned it, right? Kind of, or like just like a dictionary, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
if you want to just get the guy here, you just have to know how to work with the like this guy. Like if it's a list, you want to get the you just know how to access the data, and that's really what it is. Just knowing how to make this readable, usable, and that's it. And then
Mm-hmm.
use it in like a for loop. And there's just so much with JSON, but it's not something that like the two main things that like at the end of the day, the two main things that you should kind of like hone is how to like properly access data with the Panda and then manipulate it. And then the part two is visualizing it, like using C. Have we talked about Seaborn before? Because I remember talking about Seaborn. Here, let me actually
Which
show
one?
Seaborn.
I don't remember that.
Let me show. Is it the weather one? This is probably this one. Okay, I think this is the one. So Seaborn is another, besides Matplotlib, uh, like Seaborn is another module that allows you to graph things. And if I can get to it, okay. So if you look over here, so right here, this is just a plot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then look at how Seaborn plots it.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can from what I've known, like Seaborn is actually better to use with pandas versus like Matplotlib,
Okay.
because it's just easier to manipulate things, like
Mm.
overlap things here. You could also do it with Matplotlib,
Hmm.
and then also the graphics look better here. Let me see if you can. Okay, this is Matplotlib and this is Seaborn. I mean, yeah,
Oh.
it's a different color, but what about this one? This is Matplotlib and this is Seaborn.
Hmm.
And if you look closer, like this is hard to read, right? Like
Yeah.
they're all blots, but if you look over here, yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And like another thing with Seaborn, so the way you input data, like the syntax, this is how they do it right here, right? And then look at what you guys have been doing. You use this, right?
Mhm.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Like you have the data frame, and then you have to get the column from it. But for this one, like it's just a string, and then all you have to do is, you can stack as many of these guys, and then the data frame, whatever you're referring to, is at the end. What this does essentially is it's faster. It's faster to run this guy,
Oh, okay.
because this one you have to go to the data frame, right? This df guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then from the data frame look for this column.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's another one. So just to like, I guess, pique some interest, but you remember doing like a regression or like a scatter plot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The deadly nightmares.
Yeah, they are for sure.
But like this is Seaborn's one. I don't know, like for some reason I just like the graphics that they have, and then besides that, like it gives you this range thing. It's kind of light, but this light blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that you can, there's more capabilities with on top of what you can already do in Matplotlib.
Hmm.
And I guess their line graph doesn't really look that bad. It's kind of similar.
Oh, we didn't do that.
And here's a cool one. So you guys, do you remember the box plot, the box plots?
Yeah, I didn't do a good job on that, but I remember it.
Okay, but look at this one. I think this is Seaborn's one. Look at this guy.
Oh, wow.
It's a violin plot.
That looks so much better.
Yeah, I mean it's creative. I mean, for me, I mean this is the one that like, oh, okay, this is the the most normal way of presenting it, but just having a capability, and it looks nicer. It looks nicer than this guy. And here's
Yeah, it
another
does.
one. Here's another one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, heat map. So there's another heat map. Do you remember
Oh.
talking about the correlation, like dot core function?
Correlate. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
So like that, like when you're presenting a correlation, it's very like imagine this without the colors. It's just the numbers. So it's not. I would say it's harder to interpret because it's just what I mean. Like you're showing someone, and the display is like there's no numbers. But if you did something like this, like with a heat map and everything, it just looks so much nicer. But I think this is only you can only do this in Seaborn.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that does look nice.
yeah, yeah. There's so much capabilities, and then this. I think this is like one of the ones I like because you can stack things.
Oh, wow.
Like for example, like what if you were to show this in a slide or like a poster or whatever, and then like you don't have that much like real estate, like space real estate on your slide, then you can stack all your figures into one, like this guy.
Oh, that's nice, actually. Yeah, it's clean and you can see a bunch of stuff right up front.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Like if you want, you can look up Seaborn. It's a sea like in the ocean, and then born like born
Mhm.
ultimatum. It's I don't know what to say.
Got it. Okay.
So,
Oh my God.
but like yeah, like Seaborn is definitely like the way to go. Everyone likes it better than Matplotlib, but no one teaches Seaborn that much. Like it's
Okay.
usually pandas and Matplotlib, but they'll introduce Seaborn, but they won't talk about it that much.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
think I
actually
don't know if
better.
we'll cover it. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't think we'll cover it.
Yeah, I mean, if you know how to do like Matplotlib, yeah, it's easy. Like that's the basic stuff. You can definitely do Seaborn as well.
Hmm. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
very
that was
nice.
just me showing you that because I wanted to show you like the capabilities of like using another program. But let's see. Yeah, with JSON stuff, there's really like not much as long as you know like what you're trying to do here. Like
So like the response, so the data I want the output or the response to be a JSON.
yeah, and when you print this guy, this you're dumping all of this to this, and that's how you're able to see it in a better sense.
Got it. Okay. So that's just standard boilerplate
Yeah,
naming to
the
get to the
boilerplate stuff is like yeah, like this for JSON stuff. This is what you do. You know like same with the pandas. You get the CSV you into Python, and then you read it and you output like the data frame. This is the JSONic way of doing it.
Hmm.
And then like after you do that, you filter out your data to get some words out of it, and then like this guy, and then what was it? Then some of these guys. I know there was one. I think it's this one right here. Like outputting like a string this way is convenient because if you look over here, this
Mm-hmm.
is also a string, right? But they're just using this as like part of a variable. And if you we didn't really talk about this that much, but if you put an F in front of the string, you can make everything a string and then just put a brace. And whatever you put inside here is a variable, and it prints out as a string.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the string, well, essentially that variable, the first ship
Yeah, this
is
guy. Yeah.
reading the dictionary, if you will.
Yeah.
You
It's
know.
so this right here is filtering the dictionary or
Mm-hmm.
this JSON object, and then you're going to name, which is this guy, right? This is the key.
Mm-hmm.
So once you put the key in there, kind of like a data frame, the key is the column name or the label, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for a JSON, it's you're giving it key names, and from the key you access the value, and the value is synonymous with the row in a data frame.
Okay.
So like this guy, this will be this guy, right?
Right. Right.
And then so once you store that tie advanced x1 into here, you put it inside this brace, and because you put f in front of the string, the other way of doing this is pretty much just deleting this and then putting putting this guy right here. That's the other way. But this guy is like a shortcut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you put this F, it's just another way of doing it.
Hmm.
And let's see. Let's look at. Do you remember? Did you try to go over these again? I know there's a lot of them.
No, I didn't. I was like,
Let's just pick one. So something because they're it's always good. Like I'm glad that he gives you guys a lot of things because like what you'll never know when you need to come back here and then look at like a command, right?
oh, for sure. I mean, I used a lot of the lesson boilerplate, if you will, for the homework. A lot of it because
It's all that's fine. That's like the way to do it. Like you should. The only time maybe you have to recreate the wheel is if there's really nothing there, which is like super rare.
yeah.
Yeah, someone somewhere has created or given you something, a resource where you can just copy, like not really copy because data is free for the most part.
Right, right.
no copyright.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, so that's why you gotta take your, the data real estate world first before it gets proprietary.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a good field. I feel like that's the one thing. I mean, sometimes it's nice, but like, how when you start learning data science, it's so cheap, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's free, it's open source.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But if you have to take a class, then it's not free. Here's
No, it's
YouTube.
this class is far from free. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Wondering why I spend so much.
Yeah. But are you learning though? That's the thing. Are you learning
Yeah.
from the beginning?
Yeah.
From the beginning, when you entered in, it's like I'm gonna teach myself something new. Like, is it worth it? Like now that you've learned like VBA a little bit, which probably isn't as good of a skill.
That was traumatic. Yeah, I think it's not so foreign to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
And I
that's good.
think, even if like at the end of the 6 months, because I know like we're leaving Python and going into other
Yeah.
programs, but
Mm,
I know that I can go on my own online,
yeah,
and like to Udacity and to others and just
yeah. I
take
think
it.
that's the thing. Like now you kind of get the language, the general language, right? In essence.
Yeah, and I understand what they're talking about at least, so I can go in and like, what is this problem issue that keeps arising? Why am I constantly having to debug here, that type of thing, where it's
Yep.
just
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I think, I mean, I made it 2 months. That's a big thing.
That's good. That's a good
that
unlock.
two out of 6 months is not bad right here.
Yeah. I wonder so you guys will spend like SQL and then like Java, and then there's still 4 more months, 3 more months.
Well, yeah, I think there's like
Crazy.
C plus and like, yeah,
What is after that?
yeah, I know
I
definitely
I
the
feel
other
I
part.
feel I feel like he should have spent more time, like spread it out more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's like a few other languages or programs or data, whatever it might be. It's a lot packed in. I just have to go back and find where that calendar was of,
Oh, okay.
of what we're heading into.
Yeah.
Um, and then that will determine. Um, but definitely, I know at the end is machine learning because that'll be part of
Machine
project
learning, yeah,
management.
ML. ML is the way to if you want to preview it, there's so much you can learn from it. Like just the thing is, just like learn what's it called? Scikit learn, SK learn. Um, if you can like search like actually, what do I just show you? SK learn. So if you scikit learn this guy.
Oh,
So scikit learn or SK whatever. This is the main tool like of the era, I guess.
oh, okay.
So you know, this is like one thing you can do with it, and then the other thing, and then like these are the two main guys, and then this one like, sometimes. But yeah, if you want to like learn the commands that ahead of time, because it is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and there's a user guide here, and there's examples. I mean, like, it's kind of like Matplotlib, right?
It looks like it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the one thing that's different about this is like now you're predicting things and using probability, like the theory of probability, into
Oh,
predicting things, and then like yeah, that's what these are showing. Just a bunch of stuff here.
oh my.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun though. Okay,
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Definitely.
okay.
Need to build on it.
For when did you want to meet again? Because like I think this week. Did you want to talk about SQL when you guys get a chance?
Let me wait till I have a couple lessons because I think he'll do 3 sessions on that one before we get our homework in. So I
Okay,
want to
okay,
I need to feel out next week,
okay,
see
good.
how it
Okay,
is, and then from there it'd probably be the following week.
okay,
Once we get our homework and um I get that underway to at least have something to show and
Yeah.
review.
Yeah.
So
I'll send you something just to help out, maybe like something about SQL.
that'd
So
be great. Yeah.
just to like kind of like because SQL is like not bad, but if you can send me like what topic of it that you guys are covering on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll send you the lesson reviews for sure. And
Okay.
yeah, because I know that, yeah, we won't have any homework on from Saturday. It'll be Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday. So that Wednesday night or Thursday,
Okay.
then we'll be back on track to getting the homework again that next Thursday. So then I'll work on that next Thursday, Friday, and then so probably the following weekend or early week
Okay.
review for issues and anything anywhere that I'm stuck. So that's
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll do the same thing again. I think it's good that were you able to figure out that the vacation pie, the one I sent by chance? What?
Yeah, I what you know what it was is like weather pie versus the city's CSV.
Yeah.
This wasn't and then I was trying to do my own weather pie and it was reading it, but then it was going into a different file, you know, it was not into a different file, but I just couldn't find it. So I finally
Okay.
figured that it was updating on its own
That's good.
as
Okay.
I was going through. So it
Okay.
just took quite a few tries, but it finally grabbed the
Okay.
data, so it matched up between weather and vacation. You know, that
Perfect.
was the thing. It's like I needed it to match up to my data,
Yeah.
you know, what I was pulling. And so it took a bit, but it finally
It
uh,
worked. That
the bugs finally worked out. Yeah, there
yeah.
were just a few other things that kept
Yeah.
sticking, but finally after a few hours
That's
I
good.
got it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If you trust yourself, you'll always get it.
well, I don't know about that, but
I mean, it's more the one thing about these things is like there's always like obviously like if you see it done and then like kind of like compare because there's multiple ways of doing it. It's like the hardest part is the debugging, right? Knowing and then like now that you see like we've seen different errors, you've debugged it a few times.
yeah, for
Obviously,
sure.
we'll do more of it, but you kind of can't. You've learned a little bit the traction of where to look at. What parts are you gonna like? Are there mistakes in, and kind of recognize? Okay, this is an error that associates with this type of like solution. So
Yeah. Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
now we have to enter into a new language, so that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be have to retrain myself to
Yeah.
step away for a bit, but I'm sure we'll head back into it. It's gonna be a bit of a
Yeah.
reality check.
Awesome. Okay.
All
All right, so
right.
thank you. And then I'll see you once you send me stuff, and then I'll send you my thing.
Sounds great. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Awesome. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.